make it clear the previous verse before we go to the next one. So, last week you were the same, days after you were the same, and today you are the same. But why I feel I have been different, the days are different, the situation is different, the event is different. It is because of the conditional reality superimposed on the consciousness. Consciousness is the same. Days and dates and the time are different. We have given a label. Today is Saturday. Yesterday was Friday. Tomorrow is going to be Sunday. This is conditional reality. We have done it for the sake of convenience. It is not real. And we get caught into it. Same thing, the waking state, the dream state, and the sleep state are conditional reality. Conditional means superimposition. We have been passing through the waking state, the dream state, and the sleep state for so many years. And we claim as if today is a good morning and tomorrow would be a bad morning. We lose awareness. Why? Because I identify myself with yesterday or today or a waking state or a dream state or a pain in the body or a pleasure. This is what is happening every day. So we are not living consciously, we are not living in awareness. Consciousness is not dictated by these states, these conditions, these situations in daily living. We get caught. So what is changing? We get caught in what is changing. That is a conditional reality. And that conditional reality claims that this is what I am. So marriage is a conditional reality. Divorce is a conditional reality. So everything that is changing, everything that depends on the consciousness is a conditional reality. Everything that depends on the consciousness. But the consciousness is independent. And that consciousness is me. Consciousness is independent. It does not change. So what does not change, what is independent, is the real I. This is another way to look at, and that is what is known as, because I awaken to that unconditional reality that does not change, that is independent, and the rest of the thing depends on this consciousness. Whether it is a waking state, dream state, or sleep state, whether it is today's pain, yesterday's pleasure, whether it is yesterday's single, today's marriage, tomorrow divorce. It depends on conditional. They are conditional realities. So my mind gets mixed up with this conditional reality, and then it says, this is what happened to me. Nothing happened to us. Nothing can ever happen to us. But because the mind is so much heavily conditioned, that is why it is. That is why It identifies with anything that is changing, and then we say, I'm suffering, I have a problem, I have a pain. So this can only be removed because this is ignorance. This can only be removed by consistent, regular, committed study of the principles of Eastern wisdom. Why? Why only Eastern wisdom? Because it gives me the knowledge of who am I. Physics, chemistry, biology doesn't give you the knowledge of who am I. Even if you have to study and remember the formulas, you have to repeat, and consistent studies makes you aware of those formulas of the chemistry. But only one thing is there. Once you apply these principles, you reach to that irreversible state, you are done. Forget, throw out all those principles. Because once it is irreversible, it cannot be reversed. That state, in the mind, that state, the mind is now able to differentiate between the conditional and unconditional reality. And that is why our great master explains it through a metaphor. So, with that introductory remark, pay attention. We talk about the infinite space, boundless space that has no division. This represents a singular, undivided consciousness. The metaphor. Now I take a clay pot or a space inside the pot. So what is that space inside the pot? This is the enclosed by the body. But consider this body as a pot. So out of that infinite space, it is enclosed. The space is not different. The space is here equated to a consciousness. So the space is not, you see the enclosed space is not different and separate from the infinite space. Not very serious, just play on fun. So that space, infinite space, and the pot space are not different. So with a reference to the enclosed body, we say it is a real self. With reference to the entire world, we say it is supreme consciousness in the God. Reference point has changed. Reference of what? Reference of the conditional reality. You have to contemplate and reflect again and again, and then you say, oh, yes, now I got it. Once the mind says, I got it, so you live into that state. And then we have to continue to contemplate and reflect, remind ourselves again the impurities, ignorance is gone, done. But come back to this metaphor. So the two parts of the metaphor, the infinite space at the macro level and the infinite space at the micro level. So that is how this master is making us aware that what you are thinking as the individual consciousness and the infinite supreme consciousness, fact is that they are the one. They are not different. Oh, you are all pervading, yes, as a consciousness. But you get caught that I am the body and the mind. I have the pain, I got married, and so I woke up, and all these are conditional reality. We are caught up in that, and that is why we suffer. But there is another point of the suffering. Now, in that pot space, the space does not go anywhere. But if you put the water, it becomes a water space. You put the coffee, it becomes a coffee space. Where is that water space? Waking state. Where is that coffee state? No, just I'm giving an example. It may use that as a dream. But the very space does not change inside. But we start giving a conditional reality That is what, I have a pain, I am suffering, I have got a problem. Hmm? So that is what we say, the water space. The space reflected in the water contained in the pot. What is this? This is the mind. This is the mind. It's such a unique metaphor. Every master uses it. And then what happens? Now, in that water space, you see, if you put it outside in open, you see the clouds. Then all the clouds are reflected. So, in that reflected space, in that mind, I see the world of you, me, he, she, it, problem, pain, duality, conflict. Are you paying attention? Say yes, even if you don't pay attention. It's a constant, consistent learning. If you listen to it again, it will happen. First is the micro aspect. What is the micro aspect? The individual self. What is the individual self? The part space. Now it becomes clear. Oh, the space is the same as the infinite space. No, but now it is a water space. So first, water space is the reflected mind. Now it is not the original consciousness. It is reflected consciousness. Now in that reflected consciousness, I see the world. Get rid of the reflected consciousness you don't see. Still you see the world as a conditional reality, but behind that, you see only one infinite consciousness. You don't see, you experience. It's a direct knowledge. You experience that there is no difference between you and me. And that experience is nothing but what we say. It is awakening. It is awakening. So we have given a name, different names in different contexts. We have given a name of conditional reality as a mithya. So how to get to that knowledge? So I have to understand clearly the mithya, and I have to maintain that awareness of the mithya. So am I not aware that the body is constantly changing, the mind is constantly changing, the intellect is constantly changing, the thoughts is constantly changing? I'm speaking. My energy is being exhausted. That is also constantly changing. Even if you are listening, energy is also exhausted. So I'm simply aware that mithya simply means that which is constantly changing. Our body, mind, the world outside that I perceive is constantly changing. That is why it is mithya. And I'm not the mithya. We let us go a little deeper about this conditional reality. That this conditional reality or the mithya is neither absolutely existence nor absolutely non-existent. There comes the confusion. Like mirage water, you see it from a distance. After all, you see something. You see the water. So you cannot say nothing exists. But as you come closer, it is non-existence. So we say that it is absolutely, we cannot say mithya or the false is absolutely existent or absolutely non-existent. That causes a lot of challenges. Why don't you see I have a pain in the body? But you are not the body. You are not the body. Take care of the pain at the same time. Know that you are not the body. So whatever is changing in the body is not you. that becomes very challenging to accept. Why? Because of conditional reality. So then we start giving lot of argument. We give the false notion. And those false notion again overlaps the mind. We go back to the same world of suffering. We continue to suffer. What is false? The first factor, it is constantly changing. Second, it is in between real and the unreal. It is not fully real, and it is also, we cannot say it is fully unreal, because unreal is non-existent. Waking states, dream state, sleep state, absolutely neither existence nor non-existence. I have to live into that awareness. That is why we say purify the mind first, otherwise you'll be caught up. No, you made me angry. I'm caught up in the conditional reality. Oh, you made me happy. Please don't leave me. I told you that guy said I love this girl 200%. I said, you have been with me for the last 2 years. And this girl met you just a week ago. You have given 200% to her. And I'm making you aware, I'm making you wiser. You don't even love me 5%. See that? See the conditional reality. No, I told him that no need to love me, but understand. So why I love 200%? Because I projected. That is the absolute reality. That now the word projection has come. From where the projection has come? From the mind. What is the mind? Mind is the water space. Is the water space real? No. So I am free. Whether you divorce me, you marry me, I'm free. Whether I'm in a waking state or a dream state, I live into the same consciousness, I'm free. Why? I'm not carried away by the mithya. Ask Terry in deep sleep, is she aware of her problem of Parkinson? No. That is absolutely, it does not exist. Absolutely exist, neither existent nor non-existence. I have to live into that awareness, what exists all the time. Third aspect of the conditional reality is that it does not have an independent existence. And once you get into that, your mind is settled that it does not have an independent existence. Intellectually, we can understand, but we have to contemplate a lot and go into a deeper meditation for hours together. The world, the body, mind, intellect, all lack the independent existence. Let us understand in a different way. I say you are telling a lie. What is the reference point of you are telling a lie to me? If there is no truth, I cannot say you are telling me a lie. So lie has a dependent existence. Do you see that? But the truth does not depend on the lie. Real does not. It is independent existence. Consciousness is independent. So that is what the master is saying. The false does not have an independent existence. So just look for, I have a pain. Oh, does it have an independent existence? Then I am the pain only. Stop the discovery. Stop doing meditation. But it has a dependent existence, then it is false. Marriage, divorce, soulmate, soulmate. waking state, dream state. I should have a clarity and conviction. Let me explore anything that has a dependent existence. It cannot be me. Consciousness has an independent existence. Anything that has an independent existence is me. Anything that has a dependent existence cannot be me because it is constantly changing, because it appears true to me, but it does not. This body is like a rainbow. I told you, fast. If you are 60 years old, so just fast backward 60 years. Did you exist? No. Absolutely non existent. Fast forward 100 years. Let us take 100 years. Let us, what is the problem of imagining and dreaming that we can live for 150 years? Fast forward 100 years. Do we exist as a body? No. Absolutely neither existent nor non existent. Mithya, false. So I just lack of independent mithya. And the fourth one, mithya, is that which is perceived. Pay attention. This is what the journey of Eastern wisdom is. What is that? Mithya is that is perceived, that I experience. Whether you say I experience, I perceive it. But when I analyze this, upon analysis, it does not exist. You analyze it, find the veracity of it, prove it, it does not exist. I experience it. I perceive it. Fact. Perception of the body, perception of the flower. But when you contemplate and reflect deeply, science says, if you look from the science, you see the wall in your room. Does it exist? Does the monitor exist? Is it solid? No. That is why we have a quantum physics. Quanta. Everything is just, we say energy. Energy is not visible. So we say, I believe in science. One student of mine says, my scientific mind tells me not to believe the Eastern wisdom. You don't have a scientific mind. You have a false mind. Scientific mind. See that? So you see that? What the fourth one? False is perceived, it is experienced, but you analyze, it dissolves, it disappears. Tiger is chasing you in the dream and you are running and you are sweating. And suddenly you wake up. You experience the heart palpitation. Don't you experience? But once you wake up in a waking state, you don't see the tiger and the heart palpitation comes down. This is what is the mithya and the false and the real. We don't reject what you perceive and experience. Yes, we experience. We experience the fear. Upon analysis, there is no fear. You experience the ignorance that is causing the suffering. Upon analysis, contemplation and reflection, and the practice, you find, oh, there is nothing like insecurity. We try to fill that sense of insecurity by health insurance, by car insurance. By the way, car insurance is compulsory. car insurance. I have $10 million. It is insurance to my life. Really? Then why you have the health insurance? Oh, no, we say term life insurance. The very term is changing. We are making ourselves fool. No, we continue to have it. False should be treated with the false. I understand. The master says when you continue with these chain of thoughts, following the principles, first allow the mind to settle into the conviction based on these understanding of the false and the real. Tell me, you just object to it? Object any of these uh, understanding of the false? Anything that is changing cannot be real. Anything that is changing, it appears at one time, it disappears at other time. Body appears at one time, it will disappear in time. Mind, thought, feeling, sensation. It does not have an independent existence. Consciousness is out, body is no more. The fourth one is very hard to digest. It is perceived. You tell me your experiences. From there, I examine. No, everything is good, but I had a distracted mind. So your focus was on your perception and experience, not on the knower of the perception. Are you understanding? Are you getting it? Not on the knower and the seer of the perception. So your mind mixed up. It becomes a water space. Now I'm a water space. I have a cup of tea. We need that extraordinary awareness to recognize and realize, no, no, I'm independent. What is perceived? What is perceived is not me. I'm a perceiver. How can I be perceived? I get caught into that. And that is what the ignorance is. That is why I've been repeating the example of a mirage water. Appears to be there, but it is not actually present. Perception, feeling, I feel it, no doubt. I feel it through the reflected consciousness. Only the changing identity can experience the change. Mind is constantly changing. I am not the mind. How can you say that you are the mind? Only the mind can experience what is changing, cannot be called absolutely unreal or real. Dream world seems real during the dream. Now, I'm taking you to another direction. As a dreamer, I see the dream world is real. As a waker, where the dream world is not. You have the remains, and then you ask, is it really true what I experienced in the dream? Tiger was chasing me, but I don't see the tiger is here. I was sweating a minute before. Now I calm down. Dream world seems real for a dreamer. Sleep world seems to be real for a sleeper, but it is not true. Clear? This world appears to be real for a waker. But if the waker world is real, then it should continue in the dream and the sleep also. It does not continue. You don't have the same word, waker word in the dream or nor in the sleep. How can you say this word is real? This is another dream where we have stress, problem, relations, marriage, divorces, etc., etc. And then we transition into another unreal world in the dream. Then we transition into another world where we don't know anything is the sleep. And we return again to the waking world. So it means there's something that is connecting the dots of the dream, the waking, and the sleep. I, as a waker, I don't know the dreamer. As a dreamer, I don't know the sleeper. But at the same time, I still see it as the same consciousness because, say, today I slept, so I do not become Stephen. It means I'm the same guy. Who remembers this? Consciousness. What is that consciousness? Which is unchanging. That is why we understand the 4 points of the false. Because if that I has changed, then yesterday I was Girish, today I will become Stephen. And who knows, day after I will become Brandy. Beautiful. Another day I will become Terry. If there is no independent I, there is no independent consciousness. If there is a thing that does not change, that 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 is unchanging identity. Over that I see the change of waking, dream, and the sleep. Then I will not remember. Think that is the process of contemplation and reflection. And just check it again and again. Am I saying anything wrong which goes against the uh, which goes against the right contemplation, which goes against the right logic? Answer is no. The mind falls back into the illusion again. What is that? Illusion is the false. That is why Master says self inquiry is required, my friends. Self inquiry. I take it for granted I'm the body and the mind, I'm rich and the poor, I'm good and the smart and the bad, and etc. And then everything falls back. Done. I caught up. My mind creates millions of the thoughts. Even you have simple thought, I don't like. Enough is enough. You have millions of the thoughts. Self inquiry is required. So when the self inquiry is required, I could see at the individual self, at the individual level, I am the real self. And it is the same real self at the level of the world. I am the supreme self. I am one pure consciousness at the macro level. So just I use the word macro level and micro level. And the rest is the false. What is false at the micro level? It is the reflected consciousness at the individual level, the water space, and the entire world at the macro level. I am only the pure consciousness. You are contemplating and reflecting, you are following a thought process. Behind that, there is an awareness which pricks you. Oh, yes, it seems true. But I'm caught up in ignorance. And that is what we discussed last time, that this ignorance, now you see that what is that ignorance? Come to the same thought process. That ignorance or absence of knowledge. Two types. I discussed last time. There are two types of absence. We talk in Eastern wisdom. Absence due to something not being present. If I leave my watch at home, absence of which is because it is not present with me. My wallet is not in my pocket because I left it at home. There is no apple in the fruit bowl because I finished them yesterday. You see, look at it, being just aware. Absence, not being present. I don't have the book with me because I returned it to the library. Dennis just edited and put the book that we are going to do on 18th of this month for a seminar. So it is still not there available. So it is absence. Absence. Now, second part is absence due to something. Something else is concealing its presence. Are you getting it? It is concealing something in the present, concealing. Remote is being concealed by my hand. Sun is obscured by the clouds in the sky. My keys are on the table but hidden under some paper. The tree is present in the backyard but hidden from the view of the fence. I can give you millions of examples. So absence due to something else is concealing, hiding. That we are talking of that ignorance. Absence due to not being present, and absence due to hiding. We are talking of that ignorance, which is absence due to hiding. And it is hiding, still it is not hiding. And that is why it takes a long time. It is hiding and still it is not hiding. What do you mean by saying? Why you are contradicting yourself? If I say I do not exist, I am telling a lie. Who says I do not exist? Only because of the existence, it says I do not exist. Because of the impurity, I do not become aware of it. So lack of awareness. Why lack of awareness? It is concealed. That ignorance is being hidden. It is already there, here and now. Here and now. That is the journey of the highest, of the Eastern wisdom. When we are the highest level of a seeker, means the mind is pure. What does it mean by the mind is pure? Pure does not mean that we are a Santa Claus. Purity of the mind simply means that now perceived false thought structure does not interfere in my inquiry. Don't be so serious. It is so simple. So that is why we say, then we come from the false, we come to the real self. We say that real self is beyond time. Now we have already proved it. Real self is beyond the time, beyond waking, dream, sleep, and etc. What is beyond the time? It has to be beyond the shape and the size, because the time and the space works together. Are you understanding that? What is beyond time? It will have no space. It will have no shape in the size, name in the form. There is a shape from where the shape has come. Every shape is subjected by the time. It came out from a company where they manufactured. In that company, it was simply a plastic. Before that, it was something else. So any shape, name, and the form is subjected by the time and the space, time and the shape, time and the name and the form go together. So if it is beyond the time, it is beyond the shape. That proves that I'm not the body. Now see that if there is no, it is beyond the time, it is beyond the name and the form, then where it is? You are asking a wrong question. Where it is? Did you understand? You're asking a wrong question. Where it is? I'm saying it is beyond time, beyond the name and the form. Don't ask me where it is. It's a wrong question. It is all pervading. I'm pure consciousness is all pervading. You have proved everything, but what? All your but and if belongs to mithya, false. Ask me, what is but and if? Ask me any question. It comes into the category of but and if, and that but and if follows the path of the mithya. And that is why I'm not able to realize. Oh, you caught me from everywhere, but I have a lot of pain. You see, but and if. I already told you the pain is a perceived reality. Upon analysis, you recognize that the body has a pain, you don't have it. Does the dead body complain that I have a pain? That is why I've been saying this. Eastern wisdom follows 200% of reasoning. Science only follows 100%. Close your eyes. Eyes are closed. Eyes are closed. And so the knower is different from the eyes. When I say you close your eyes, it is the reflected consciousness. The mind has taken for granted that I have the eyes, but you realize consciousness. If the consciousness is not there, how can you close your eyes? Eyes do not listen to you. So that consciousness reflected into the mind. Mind understood the language and it understood the part of the body and it also understands what it means by eyes are closed, so you closed your eyes. So the entire process happens in such a fraction of a millisecond. We take it granted that I am the body and I have to close my eyes. And then you say, I do not understand what it means for the self to be. What is the real self? I don't know the real self. You instantly claim. And that is why we need the highest state of comfort and carefree, where we can reveal that real self. That is why I say, now you see, you have to examine in that process, in that way. the entire body. Are you aware the body is constantly changing? Simply, you need an awareness. The way you are aware of the mirage water in desert, the way you are aware that you perceive, you experience the highway is running behind you when you are driving on a highway, but you know the truth. You know the truth behind that false. So now what I'm saying? Awareness of the body. Instantly you remember body is constantly changing. It does not have a dependent existence. It depends on, every lie has to depend on the truth. Simply let that thought be there. That is the way we have to reflect. And then I say sensation, comfort, and steadiness, you experience that. Be carefree, free from all the cares of the mind. Free from all the cares of the mind. Did you understand that? So simply understanding, di- sap- simply understanding makes you aware that any thought, feeling, images, sensation, biological drives, they all are separate from you. How? That is why I've been explaining you. Being carefree is just standing across the road watching the traffic. When you live into that awareness, all your pain, beautiful sensation, experiences, thought, images, feeling, emotions, sensations, you see them separate. And gradually, what happens when you see them as a mirage water? What is changing cannot be me. So you are not at all worried if the mind is distracted or focused. But at the same time, you're aware. That is the point we are making. That is the point we are making, my friends. So, what happens? Either 5 years of daily practice of meditation brings you to this understanding, or you understand it, you remove the ignorance, and you contemplate and reflect. That takes you hardly a month. But prior to that, we should understand what is the impurity of the mind, what is the ignorance, what is the projection clearly, so that anything mind tricks me and I become aware. My mind tricks me to see the mirage water and I become aware. I take it easy. That is the way to move to the wisdom. That real self is self revealing. Big doubt comes in our mind. We may not have a question, but we have a feeling. Where is that feeling? That feeling is so simple. If the real self is self revealing, how come the ignorance can be there? It is self revealing. And if ignorance is there, then it is not self revealing. Your mind claims you don't know the real self because of the consciousness. The light bulb is illuminated in my room. It illuminates everything in the world, everything in my room, and it also illuminates itself. So it is illuminating the thought that I don't know the real self. What illuminates is the real self. It can only happen. So that's what I say. One is contemplation and reflection, and other is every time you do the Mondays and Thursdays session, you absorb yourself into a deeper, extended period of a meditation. So that prepares you. Oh, that meditation is also a preparation, yes, for the Saturday session. Then what about this self? The self is self effulgent. What it means? It shines by its very own nature. How come it shines by its own nature? It is of the nature of the consciousness. The sweetness of a sugar by its nature. You don't say, oh, let me put something from outside to make the sugar sweet. That is the nature of the real self. Like the sun illuminates the world, but does not require another sun to illuminate itself. Another question comes, but if the self illuminates itself, then why am I unaware of it? Again, the question comes. If you have reflected deeply, you have an instant answer. What is the answer? Because of ignorance. What is that ignorance? It is hiding, it is concealing. You see, we reflected, contemplated a full circle. If the self illuminates itself, why am I unaware of it? It is like being unable to see the sun due to the dark storm clouds. Sun is ever present and shining. That is what the J. Krishnamurti, one of the great masters, says. You live, meditation is nothing but living in an extraordinary awareness. And I'm adding, casually and almost outside it appears careless. Internally, you're living into that extraordinary awareness. You need not to make any effort. Why? It is self revealing. N number of the thought will pass to your mind. One lady asked me if everything I'm experiencing is false and is going to come to an end, what is the point of being alive in the first place? You are opposing your own question. You are already alive. That is why you are asking this question. Become aware of the ignorance caused by the mind. This question creates a false logic. Any false logic leads you to ignorance. She asked me, what is the point of being alive in the first place? And I told her, why you are alive now then. So you get a shock. So this shock is this is what the hiding is. This is what the concealing is. And that is what, when we do not understand, when I say I do not understand, that is hiding the real self, claiming that I do not understand and I do not know the real self. We don't follow the pragmatic approach. Even you forget everything what is taught by the Eastern wisdom. We realize our false logic. Can we live forever? Fact and evidence tells this body cannot live forever. Where is the fun of asking this question? What is the point of living alive? Did I make myself alive? No. No, you have many right questions that helps you to uncover what is hiding behind. Life is a manifestation of the consciousness. What manifests can become unmanifest, and I continue to exist. That is what is all about the journey of even when I do not speak, that awareness, that consciousness is ever present. And what is changing is not me. What is changing is the thought, my perception, my experiences. So, what is the utility of the false? To recognize I am the real self. We are not saying the false as something which has to be rejected. It has to be recognized that I am none of them. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. How are you, Stephen? I'll share our experiences. If you have any question, you can ask.
Thank you very much. There's a lot in that, and I will reserve the my talk about it at a future time because I really need to think it through. I do like the idea of conditional reality and the simplicity of separating the conditional reality from, and the mithya to basically the real self and pure consciousness. So there's more thinking in there. During my meditation, it was really quiet. I was aware of thoughts that started to try to come in. But immediately it was almost as if I labeling the conditional reality of it being false, and
Yeah.
it immediately shut down. And with each thought that came in, I felt going deeper and deeper into my meditation. So I've got to put a little bit more contemplation or reflection on not only the lesson but my own experience. So thank you.
Yes, yes. Yes, you are already into that state of meditation, but yes, still the mind returns and it does not have that level of conviction. I have understood it. And from understanding, more and more contemplation and reflection purifies the mind. And in that purified mind, which acts as a mirror, how are you, Dennis?
I'm fine, thank you. Meditation was calm and peaceful. And in the meditation, it occurred to me that we need to explore how exactly and why exactly every aspect of this perceived reality is false.
Yes,
So we need to go into every experience and not only tell ourselves that it is false, but understand why and how it is false.
yes, yes, yes. Because I did not cover the one aspect of the real self. When we say the real self cannot be objectified, what it means, it cannot become the object of perception. What it means, so that is what you are saying rightly, that I have to understand why, how of this perceived reality is. So what happens when I analyze perceived reality, means the mirage water, the rainbow, I don't see anything. But then I ask, who is present? I am. Who is this I am? It is the real self. Again, we go back to, oh, I have been analyzing everything. Who has been analyzing? I am who I am. I am the real self. Randy, no yanning. How are you?
That wasn't a yawn, it was a stretch. I'm good. I experienced several little like glimmers of space between what was going on in the body and the mind. And I really appreciated what you said at the very end of the meditation about not having to reject it, just recognize it, right? And I
Yeah,
think that that's that taking it easy that you're talking about. You don't get all uptight about. I mean, it is, but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not the same as who we are.
Yes, yes, you are right. That's what I say. You recognize it's a mirage. You don't recognize mirage as a perceived reality. So there you, that is how the Stephen, you and Dennis is saying why and how I analyze it. So if I don't analyze where I live in a non-thinking mode. So what happens in a non-thinking mode? It is an animal mind. It is impulsive. It brands The mirage is a reality. Honey, you are leaving me. How can I live? You are already living. How can you live? Talking of unnecessary stuff. No, no, but don't say to your honey, otherwise you will be fired. How are you, Daddy? Ashok, be careful. Huh?
Ah, I'm good. I'm good. I felt very light,
Yeah,
and I felt light everywhere throughout my body, like light, not lightweight, but
yeah,
light.
yeah.
And then I felt like the surface, like only the surface existed, like
Beautiful.
like a shell, kind of. And on the surface, that was where the sensations were, like, which in my case is kind of like pain. Not exactly pain, but it's unpleasant.
Unpleasant.
And then I I don't know, but for some reason that helps me to separate myself from it.
Yeah,
And so that was what I experienced. But
that's a
when
very good.
yeah,
Yeah, that the moment you feel very clear, light, obviously that is nothing but because of the clarity in the mind and a separation in the mind of what is already separate
well,
gives you deeper
it's
experience.
I know it's changing, so it's not the real self,
Yeah, yeah,
because it wasn't always there. I wasn't born with it.
that is ignorance.
It's come into being.
That is what I'm saying. It is always there since our birth. But my
Right.
mind superimposes
The
what is
pain,
already present as an absence.
right, but pain has not always been there.
Yeah, pain.
So that
That is
made it
why it is
parallel.
false. Perceived
Right.
reality, it is not real.
So that is, but when you talked about time and space, if something has a location, that's in time, right?
Yeah. And
So
if it is in time, it has it has a shape.
yeah,
Then it is not real self.
yes, that's what. And then I have one more question.
Yeah.
I always think this when you're standing across the road. I
Yes.
just want to know. This is almost silly. Do you mean across the like across the road?
Yeah.
From what?
You are
Across,
standing across the road means you are stand still. That is your pure awareness. It is a knower. And what you see, the traffic, it is constantly changing. So, what is the traffic? Your body, your mind, your emotions, your past, your memories, your pain, your pleasure, everything, what you have eaten today, how did you sleep today, everything. That is all the traffic. That is constantly changing.
could you say I'm standing
Yeah.
beside the road?
Obviously, the mind can see that you are always standing. Mind can reflect. At present, mind is reflecting that I'm constantly changing. Similarly, the mind can also reflect that I am not changing. Means I'm standing.
Okay.
Means I'm the real self. And that is what is known as an awakening. How are you, Ashok?
Sir, no question. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good. Yes. So just you have to rightly said you need to contemplate, reflect again and again. And there is an easy process. You all discussed about it. that perceived reality, the fourth characteristics of the real self, that it cannot be objectified. Means I cannot see the real self in front of me. So what do I see is a perceived reality. You prove it in your mind. You're there. That is all for today. Thank you very much for
Thank you.
long
Thank you,
gossip.
sir.
Thank you.
Namaste, everyone.
तो प्रभु जी अच्छा